So good evening and welcome to the Donny Chaingang with me, Mark Payne. As you can tell, busy weekend we've had down at the National Cross Championship, seeing lots and lots of our riders down there. Great to see so many Donny Chaingangs. If I didn't manage to say hello to you, if you gave us a wave or similar, then apologies if I didn't wave back. Most of the races I've run, and it meant that we were running like loonies up and down all the around the site, but great to see so many people down there and out and around site on what was a fantastic weekend's racing. And hopefully the riders who we have on the chain gang, people like Nick Craig, who took a title, and all the youngsters who were racing, as well as some of our more senior riders, let's say, managed to put all that practice at going hard after the go to good use out on the course, although total polar opposite, because it was muddy, slippy, pretty Baltic on Saturday and wet as well. Whereas when we were on the chain gang, it's going to be nice and warm because we're in Watopia. Week 2 of 2022, doesn't time fly, heading well into our second year now, and that's going to run right through to the end of April. So a busy week. We've got a busy week coming up because we've got, not only were we recording the crosscast yesterday, we've also, again, got 3 chain gangs as well. So we come straight out of the National Champions through the crosscast and into what is the very busy 3 weeks. We've got the Donny Chaingang tonight, open to all riders in San Sequoias. We've got the women's only Wednesday's Donny Chaingang tomorrow, and then we've got the Donny Chaingang again, open to all riders on Thursdays. Oh, and then we go to another cross race, this time up in Skipton near Broughton Hall. So we're looking forward to that, and I know for definite we're going to see lots of our Chaingang riders up there as well. Before we go much further, though, with a couple of minutes, let's see if we can do a very brief call with the Bear. We will try and catch up with him out en route because we do get a little bit of a head start on this one to see whether we can get hold of him. We were trying to get hold of the leader. It is Russ, the Bear Fonzie Downing himself, the one and only man with the yellow beacon above his head. Good evening, Russ. How are you doing?
I'm good, mate. Just turning the echo off.
It's always handy.
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. You know, shaping up a bit. Another visit to the osteopath, which, it's battered my body over the last year and a half or so. So, yeah, good fun.
Yeah, it's to get you stretched back out again just in time for a little bit of sunshine. You never know.
Yeah, it's all good fun. So let's see what's happening. But just did on the commentary there, thanking everyone down at the weekend. But yeah, I'm not going to lie to you, that looked great fun riding around in that mud. Not.
Well, I've got to say, there's different sorts of mud, and that was the sort of mud that looked really, really bad. But actually, it could have been worse. It was quite wet and sloppy, and once you're wet, you're wet. It wasn't sticking to the bikes. Had it been sticking to the bikes, then it would have been a whole different ball game, because it would have been just like riding through concrete and cement. So but the riders did really well, and great to see so many chain gang riders doing amazing, and everyone from the Ruby Isaacs and the younger end of the spectrum right the way through to the Nick Craigs and co up in the veterans racing, and people like Neil from Gritty doing good rides, and championship wins, so can't ask for more than that. So great run tonight. We're in the desert, so the total opposite. It's going to be nice and dry, going to be warm, but we do go through Sand and Sequoia, so a bumpy route. Heading out at 2.5 watts per kilo by any chance, Russ?
Maybe a little bit less, 2 watts per kilo. Just stay around me for a few 4 or 5 minutes, let it blob up. It's pretty easy to do here on a flat circuit. So, and then we'll sit at 2.5 for a while, and then we'll keep the group tight, look after the gang. Then we'll up it to 3s and then hover around that. I'm sure it'll be more like 3.2, 3.4, 5 at that point. But, stay around me really, and stick as close to those numbers as you can.
Well, time's to go, Russ. We'll let you get off as you head out from the start, mate. So, the ride just rolling out from the pens. We're going to show everybody where they're going. Enjoy, Russ. Have a good one.
Cheers, mate. Same to you. And, looking like it has set off pretty steady. red beacons in front of yellow, which is never a good sign, but we'll
I'm
we'll
sure
reel
Mike
him in.
Killingsworth will soon work
It's
out
only
where the back
Mike.
of the group is and end up back down there. 114 riders, it's going to be a busy one.
Yeah, the thing is, though, it's like we say, it's its own success that's done this. Mike was swinging around the back early doors when we started the chain gang, and now he's powering off the front. So, we've created a beast, and it's our fault.
It certainly is. It certainly is. Cheers, Russ. Let's show everybody where they're heading, and we'll catch up with Russ in a moment. Right, so let's head into the map first of all, because this is one of my favourite and one of Russ's favourite routes as the riders just get themselves together on the 2.4k leading. They're just on that little red section at the moment. Making the way in and through the first 2.4k. Once they get to the Fuego Rock sprint finish, that's the start-finish line of the lap proper, both today, in fact, and Thursday when we're on out and back. The riders will then go through the desert, in through towards the lake with very minimal elevation change, but then we go into Titan's Grove. It climbs from the moment we hit the trees all the way through to the top of the KOM. We then drop back down through the wiggles, the twists and turns to come back through the Rock Arch. We're going to do 2 laps of 20.2k, which means we finish at the Fuego Flats Rock Arch at 42.8k. And it is going to be a warm down of 2.2k. That will take us to the. That should take us into the finish, which is the blue banner. Now the riders just starting to make their way up in towards the group with our red beacon, Mike Killingsworth, the man charged with making sure everybody at the back knows what's going on, where they are and who they are. We've got to remember it is a massive group, so the front can't see the back and the back can't see the front, but everybody can see our 2 beacons. They are impossible. If you can't see them, you can't see anybody else at all. You might as well get off the bike. It's Russ, of course, in our yellow beacon and our regular Mike Killingsworth in the red. So let's have a look what this profile looks like when we unpack that out. We have 2 full laps, so you can see the repeat. Halfway along the course is the join. So our riders start off and work their way through each of the lines a kilometre as you go in and through. 2 laps of the Sand and Sequoias. We have the climb of Titan's Grove, so we do the first little climb up into the grove itself, and then we do the KOM. We drop down, there's a little kicker on the way out, and then it's back through the desert before going over Titan's Grove again, and then that fast run into the finish from the top. And as you can see by those kilometre markers from the top of Titan's Grove, the total is about 7k into the finish on the Rock Arch. A massive thank you to Velo Viewer, because without their stats we would be very lost indeed when it comes to making sure that we've got the ride covered. So the group at the moment just rolling around, just trying to sort itself out, and it looks like it's a bit at 6s and 7s at the moment, so we're going to roll pretty much to where the back of that pack is. Hopefully we're going to cover pretty much everybody on the way through, as we can see the beacons just rolling the way up. Mr. Dalglish just joining, looks like Mr. Hudson joining. So let's jump in with the riders just tucked in at the back, and let's jump in to the Donny Chaingang with me and Matt Payne live here on the Downing Cycling YouTube channel. So you can see the riders just starting to work their way in towards the Rock Arch. This is our start-finish point as they go through underneath the archway. And that's where you're going to find the riders going in and underneath the arch to complete a lap. You'll see that there is the line down and on the floor, as we see Mr. Hudson just nicely rolling his way in and through that pack, rolling along very quickly indeed, despite there being no big numbers in there. We're just giving a check on the numbers. They're all sitting around about the 1.1, 1.2, but if you get distanced, you are going to be in trouble. It's worth almost rejoining again up to the first half an hour, unless you can kick out some massive, massive numbers to get into the group. So interesting to see Keith Richardson rolling along on a full set of discs and deep wheels there. Just making his way in to the back of the group full aero bike. There's not enough climb. I certainly go generally aero frame, a bit like the Cervelo there. That is the old model Cervelo. The new Cervelo actually has the option of having the cables tucked in to the handlebars. Let's see if we can pick up somebody with a new set of new Cervelo out on the course. It's bound to be somebody fairly soon. Looks like we've got Fletcher on board again, can't keep away. I can see Tiff down at the champs, watching Tracy coming. Another be Tracy's day on the front as the riders make their way through. The gang hopefully just holding together nice and steady as we make our way through. Remember, key to keeping this together is not to push on at the front. Save your energy, guys, because you're going to need it when we get into towards the back of the group. Back of the group going into the final stages, so let's see how they get on. Now, Mike Killingsworth just having to keep an eye on the riders and just see clearly issues. Just Mr. Dalglish just having to kick on to the back, keeping it tight, keeping it tucked in together. Absolutely critical to holding that group together. And Mike just rolling at the back, just making sure he communicates. That's key when it comes to the chain gang. It's all about communication, making sure that you keep a check on what everybody is up to, watching those stats and numbers as they come through, making sure that you keep a check of what's happening and where everybody is. So this gang are working its way in through bandit territory, and you can just see actually the riders just hanging off the back are not going to be seen the moment anybody jumps into the bunch. You can just see the back of the group disappearing, and that means that the rider that we're actually sitting with at the moment, which is Mike Killingsworth, is not on the very back of the group, and that means that we are going to find there are a number of riders probably sat in between the last rider in the group and the very back of the pack. So just going to keep a run through down through this group. Now, if any riders have actually been distanced off the back of this group, we're not going to see them. Neither is anybody in that group as well, because it'll pick up the nearest 100 riders. So we're going to drop back to our poor little avatar sat on that start line, and then jump up to the nearest rider, which is Richard Woodall. Woodall just rolling around nicely on the back of this pack here. So Woodall, one of our fast riders when it comes to the chain gang. It's like Eddie Dalglish just rolling at the back as well, just with Eddie in the red there, just pushing his way back into the pack of that group. Kieran Smith just sat in and around the back, definitely not a rider who's going to stay there for very long, I don't think. Kieran in the black there, going full lightweight bike, which is absolutely the last thing you need on this course. I think Kieran clearly didn't read the notes when it came to where we're heading tonight. Paul Marlin nicely tucked in here. Paul becoming another of our regular riders. Paul on that aero frame there. So it's like Clarion Steve with issues at the moment. We're just going to take a check with Clarion Steve. Steve just having to roll. Steve, jump out, jump back in again, buddy. Easiest way to get back into that group, because you're not going to get on once that group goes. If we take a check with Paul Hudson in his rear view mirror, you can see those gaps have already opened up, and 10 seconds behind now Clarion Steve. That's going to take a lot of getting back into the pack as these riders at the back just roll around, just keeping it all nice and smooth together. Kieran and Mike just tucked on the back of the group here. Now, Mike Killingsworth, let's give you a little bit of background on Mike. Mike, one of our really early riders joining the Donny Chaingang. Mike is known very much for his being the second man in the motorbike sidecar category that races on the road. So if you've seen the motorbike sidecars hurtling around the Isle of Man, if you've seen them in places like Cadwell Park or around any of the motor circuits, you'll know just how mad it is. The pilot on the throttle and the brakes, the co-pilot sat there shifting his body weight about. That's Mike's job. That's what he does for fun on the way around. He keeps himself fit and pretty handy on that by sitting in with the guys on the motorbike, and he's absolutely brilliant on there. If you haven't watched it, make sure you go and have a check it out on YouTube. Put in Mike Killingsworth, put in sidecar racing, and you're going to go and you just watch in amazement at just how skilled these guys are. Brilliant to see, and great to have him in action. Now, looks like we've got a couple of late joiners. Daryl Tatchell-Waller, clearly the timekeeping not to military precision standard at the moment. As Tatchell-Waller just chasing on at the moment. We're just going to take a little bit of a run back because I think we've got another rider just behind here. That's going to be Knott who's pushing. So Alfie, if you're watching live, mate, jump out of the game and rejoin the game, restart your ride and jump in once again. That way you'll be able to jump straight in with the main group. You're doing more than enough watts per kilo, but to try and close down 17 seconds, that's going to be a massive effort, Alfie. Darryl Tatchell-Waller almost there at the moment. So that is key. If you get to the ride late, if you're struggling to get on time, and then if in doubt, jump out of the game, jump back into the game, and then rejoin in with the group. You can do that up to the first 30 minutes of the ride. Now, Kieran Smith here just trying to push everyone up. Daryl, you're just not going to get there, mate. It is honestly so hard trying to coast down onto the group. The dynamics are just like in real life. If you were on the flat and you had a bunch of 150 riders, and the gang are not going to need to push too hard on the way through. Now, it's Clarion Steve just trying to chase, 3 seconds in front. Tatchell-Waller just trying to get a little bit of a jump on. Now, Clarion Steve has done a good job here because he was down at about 12 seconds at one point. You can see that red beacon just in front, but Clarion Steve is coming. Has he got the power to keep it going all the way into the back of that group? It's going to take some doing. He would be more aero without the moustache, it has to be said. Not quite sure what the watts difference is, but I'm sure Mr. Bigham would be able to tell us exactly how many watts we lose with the moustache, that's for sure. I'm sure he's done the numbers on that one. Now, Sir Rodney just dropping back behind him. We do have Clarion Steve. Can't see him because of the way that the nearest 100 riders only are being rendered, but Clarion Steve's a lost rider actually on the road at the moment. Here he comes, so now being rendered up onto the screen. So Clarion Steve just chasing hard here. He's just about to make contact with Sir Rodney and Mike Killingsworth. Mike just starting to pick him up as well. So if you want the world's biggest workout, you don't need to go on the front on the chain gang. What you need to do is be our red beacon and then be constantly trying to find the last rider who you can't see half the time because of the 100 rendered riders, and you can't see exactly where the front of the group is. Now, by push jumping back and then having to push forward, you need to have some serious power. You can see Mike Killingsworth here really starting to hand now. Good to see Alfie Knott has jumped back in. So Mike, this is young man, age 12, give him a lift on the way through. Alfie, jump on that wheel. Use these breadcrumbs to get yourself back in. You've got Sir Rodney, you've got Simon Runnett just in front of you. Then you've got Kieran Smith, and that is giving you the aero advantage, and that's why we always say jump out, jump back in again. As we see Alfie Knott just pushing his way in, this youngster working well. Now he's got to do this last little bit himself, I think, here, but that gap now down at 1 second to the back of the group, and I think the rider who is just in front is going to be Isaac Oliver. Here he comes, so you can see a good comeback there by Alfie, who's just got himself into the back of the group. Mike Killingsworth just squeezing up to the back as well. So good riding there by young Alfie. Nice move. We're just sitting with our red beacon. Now you can see on the screen at the moment, it doesn't look like there's anybody really between the beacon. We'll look at when we jump back in again. You can just see that is absolutely full of riders in there. So it looks like Clarion Steve's got serious dropout issues tonight. Mike, I'm not sure I'll be waiting, to be honest, because I think Clarion Steve has got major dropouts. So if you're dropping down to 0 watts per kilogram, definitely not a good sign. So our red beacons generally will try and make sure they've got the game running in live as well as having the coverage live. It does make life easier if you're the red beacon. If you've got like multiple screens, you can watch them simultaneously. One man who knows exactly how to deal with multiple screens is this man, Jimmy Allen. The wolf himself is here. Looks like the wolf's whiskers growing nicely. Still gone back to brown. I'm not sure it's really brown in real life. I'm sure I saw some grey in one of those pictures recently. But the wolf himself, the stand man who does all his own stunts, is in here, and I think he's going to be in and riding strongly today. Apparently he's going a bit grey, so as you can tell, definitely listening to the commentary as well. Good to have you with us, Jimmy. Jimmy, of course, one of our stalwarts who does a lot of the work on the chain gang. I'll say a massive thank you to everybody who volunteers, whether it's people like Jason Stevens, it's been our red beacons, Jimmy who does the yellow beacon when Russ is not with us, and of course everybody who helps with the red and yellow beacons all the way through. And don't forget, they've got the women's only Wednesdays, Donny Chaingang tomorrow, and that's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be on the Champs-Elysees in Paris. It's going to be the lead-in plus 5 laps of the Champs-Elysees, then the run-up and the finish chosen by our yellow beacon Emma is not the lap. It's actually going to be the green banner up at the top of the latest sprint. That means that it is going to be an uphill sprint finish on the chain gang, which is something slightly different to the chain gangs on the open chain gangs over the next today and Thursday, the next couple of days, because the chain gang this week on the Donny Chaingang is using the same finish, that sprint into Fuego Flats. The difference is we've got 2 different routes. This is a 2 laps circuit of the 20.2k circuit of standard Sequoias, as our riders now leave the stand and head into towards the Sequoias, and then we will be into the forest and then back down again. We're going to be doing the out and back when we are on the route. It's a 1 lapper on Thursday and actually has more climbing than today, including the climb of the volcano as well. It's a beastie on Thursday. Really looking forward to that. So some 3 really different rides on the chain gang over the next 3 days. Today now starting to move our way in towards the climb here. You can just see plenty of riders who we've seen on the WOW DCG in here. We've got Claire Richardson, one of our real strong riders, regularly finishing top 3 in the women out on the chain gang. Just have a little run through who we've got in the gang. Looks like we've got McMillan in here as well. Sometimes Andy Singleton's here. Tracy Seeley in the gang, another of our really strong riders. Tracy in that gold jersey, the gold Tron bike as well. So it shows you just how much riding she does. Definitely one of the fast riders in the women's gang. Just having a little bit of a run through towards the front of the group at the moment. Just keep a little bit of a check on what those numbers are. Remember, it's all about keeping that group together. If you feel the need to push on this climb, you're probably not in the right group at the moment. So just running our way back down and through this package. Just going to keep a check. Here's Mr. Rollitt back here, Tim Leary with us, Steve Cannon's in, Mr. Gregory, Jim Flynn, Neil Morn as well, Billy Nomates, Nick McDermott, Ian Bale. I've seen Wolfdale Phil, we've got Jeffries Harrison in there as well. I think I've just seen Fiona Marshall. Fiona, another of our really fast, strong riders in the women's Chaingang, and great to see her riding on the open Chaingang as well. You've got to see, we've got Andy Hall's back as well. Andy back in with us. We've seen Tiff, and we've got young Tom Lindley. Young Tom moving smoothly, very experienced rider despite his tender years, and looks like he's got the pace just about right. We'll get the camera up in the air. This group just roller coastering its way up over these lumps and bumps, and this is where it gets very difficult to hold the gang together. We're going to just drop in with the group. So let's take a little bit of a check back and see how Mike's getting on. Now, if you looked at this, you'd think there was nobody between Jimmy Allen at the back here and Mike Killingsworth. Oh, look, there are loads of people in there. What a surprise. Because that is the wonders, or the one of the glitches in the system. And that is where, as you can see, 100 riders only are shown. So we've got Killingsworth, Knott and Sir Rodney. Martin Bolt just trying to push on to the back. Martin Bolt, actually the man who's done more red beacon duties than anybody else. I don't think that's ever going to be surpassed, even if we run the Chaingang for another 20 years. I just can't see it going to be the gang ever managing to surpass him. The group in front are just squeezing on, so it looks like Martin Bolt not going to be with the red beacon. So Martin Bolt shouting, keep going, I'll be back. My God, Mr. Killingsworth, amazing job. So it looks like we're just getting Mr. Harper just jumping in here. Jamie Harper from True North Adventures just showing up. And showing he's been in the gang all the way through, but I think distance out the back, not showing now. If he can squeeze on to Martin Bolt, so Jamie, squeeze it. If you can squeeze in towards Martin, Mike will be back for Martin. He'll pick you up at the same time. That'll be a group of 3. You can just see those pillars of light, the red and the yellow beacons going through. That will make a big, big difference if you can grab a wheel. Meanwhile, Mike Killingsworth, Alfie Knott and Sir Rodney just yo-yoing the way on the way through these twists and turns. But that gap, I think, going to be difficult to close down, because the back of the bunch, 14 seconds now. 14 seconds to the back of the gang. Ash Dowdry and Darryl Tatchell, Waller, Jimmy Allen, Russ, Downing, all sitting around the back, just keeping that pace nice and calm. So Killingsworth currently at 13 seconds on the back of the pack. Alfie not in there, and you can just see this group closing, and what it needs is actually a few of the strong riders to just drop back and just act as a breadcrumb trail for the riders behind to close that gap down. We're just in with Knott at the moment. We've got our 3 riders here. They've got it down to 10 seconds now. So let's have some breadcrumbs, ladies and gents. If you are in that group, they're coming. They're now at 7 seconds. This is all about, can they close that gap down? They're working hard. So Rodney, Mike Killingsworth, and look at Alfie Knott's numbers there. I just saw a 6 watts per kilo. At 12, he's going to be one of our light riders in the peloton. And look at this, the group's going back. You got Craig Genther going back. Jeff Saysal, he's an absolute legend, Jeff. He goes back every single time. And now they're going to go and just sweep with them to bring them all back in to the gang together. I don't envy Mike Killingsworth's legs now, because I think Mike's planning on going back down for Martin Bolt. That's absolutely brilliant stuff to see. Amazing. Now, Mike Killingsworth is going to take a breather, I think, and try and go back. Good luck, mate. It's going to be some serious hard work on your legs. So Mike's just taking them in. The gang got almost back together, and looks like Harper's going to just about make it. He's closed his way down here from the back now. Jamie Harper at True North Adventures. He's actually a really fast cross rider as well. So good to see Jamie back in the gang here. As we see Mike just tucked on the back of that group. Gary License just pushing on at the back here. If we zoom out on our map, we'll try and take that out. Here we go. You can just see we've still got plenty of climbing to get up to the top of the section up over to the top, and there's a pulley finger out, Jerry. So looks like most of the people back on. The only person not on is going to be Martin Bolt. Bolt not making that, not having that upper power to go up at 4 or 5 watts per kilo to get him up. So Mike, if you're feeling brave, you feel free to go back for Martin Bolt as well, because I know Martin is somewhere off the back. Kieran Smith doesn't count. Kieran can get himself there any time of the day. Now O'Rourke in here. So Ruggs just starting to push at the back here. So Dominic Rourke just squeezing 5 watts per kilo just to get himself back into the gate. You see these gradients kicking up top right hand side of the screen at the moment. So as we come up on to the top of the climb, only one rider, I think, off the back of the group. That's Martin Bolt, who is now distanced by some margin off the back of this group. So Rodney back in the pack along with Alfie. And this is where we see the riders got to squeeze. If you're at the back of this group, you really have to squeeze up as it levels off, or you get distance pretty quickly. Just watching Owens at the moment, just going to be in trouble if he's not careful. So got to really put some squeeze on now. Got to get over the top. The rollers will start to take their toll if our riders don't pay attention. This is the run down now in towards the backside of the Grove. You can see the tower on the far side. We've been up there not all that long ago, just to go up on to the top of the Epic. We've got, of course, Clammer's Gambit going up the back of there. We actually used that on the run into Christmas. And you can see these mountains in the distance now. At the moment, just Dave Owens just off the back. He's got to really push here. He's going to struggle to get back on with the pace of this group. The speed of the group will mean it will stretch clear if he's not careful. And if we just jump in with Paul Mallin at the moment, dropping down here. Paul has got the gap opened on him. He didn't squeeze quite hard enough going over the top, and that now means he's in trouble. We're going to go just a little bit further at Ross Lamb. He's going to be the rider just sitting at the back here. So good to see Ross back with us again. And Ross just squeezing to get back onto the group behind him. The gaps have opened up, and you can't afford to lose the group on this section, or you are in major, major trouble. So just in with Paul Hudson in the Neokio kit, just dropping down there, but we do know there are a number of riders a bit further back. Potts just dropping off the back now, having to sprint pretty much like a loon to get back in here. He's absolutely hammering it to try and get into the back of the group, but now 4 or 5 riders, I think, behind the back of the pack. They won't be seen by anybody on the back of the pack because it'll be masked by the nearest 100 riders. So just dropping off the back of the group, we're just nicking a little bit of a sneaky shortcut to get to the back of that pack just about. So Paul Hudson at the moment just distanced a little bit here. He's got to squeeze on. He's going to be in trouble. So 3 seconds. We've seen about 5 or 6 riders lose a touch like this. They drop off the back. They don't keep squeezes a moment's inattention, and you're in major trouble because this group is opening up now. Today we are working our way straight the way through and all the way down to the forests, down through the mudflats and basically back to the desert. On Thursday we're going to turn left down into the tunnels. It's even worse once you come through that section down in towards the tunnels. You're going to get distance even quicker than before. Now just keeping a little bit of a check. It looks to me like Tom Lindley just off the back of this group. We're just going to drop our way back so you can see Owens, Malin, Lindley, Hudson all got big gaps now to the back of the main group. We're talking currently about 25 seconds to the back of the main group, and behind these guys we've still got Martin Bolt as well. So Owens and Malin pushing on here over the top. As you can see, those gaps opening up. 25 seconds to the main group. Looks like we've got Harrison just up in front. Sitting at the back is Terry Harrison, Tiff Fletcher holding the back of that group. David Taylor in there as well. So if we zoom in on the map, you can see big gaps opening up now as these riders go through. They can see the 2 riders in front. That's the gaps really have opened on this part of the scenic section. You can see just how far away the yellow and red beacon are. The gaps filled with riders to the red, and then you can see these riders playing dot to dot behind. I think if we drop the map back in again, you'll be able to see them on the map in front, just distanced by that main group. The pace and the power of the leading group now taking it to 36 seconds up the road from Owens. Owens not the last rider on the road. So the gang turning onto the right-hand turn. So Russ busy with the gel, and just take a look back. You can just see the area where the full speed events avatars just sitting waiting lonely. Going to watch this lot come sweeping past in a moment. So Mantis, Tiff Fletcher just squeezing into the back of the pack. Killingsworth sitting about 15 seconds down. Lindley just making his way towards the back. So Tom squeezing back in now. There's about 6 riders behind Tom at the moment. So Rodney just distance from that main group as well. Not just in front, I think, not doing a great job. So Russ just tucked on the back of the main pack at the moment. So it looks like Rodney, Lindley, and Killingsworth at the moment. The group at the back that could have come into was the loop that's used on Tempest Fugit. So we're just going to drop back a little ways, just trying to keep a check of where the riders are. It's looking good at the moment as they caliber in that leading group. You can just see this group going to be closing in on Knots. I mean, Knots doing 5 watts per kilo, but going to be one of our lighter riders, so we could probably do the maths on him, to be fair. Currently at 4 watts per kilo at 160 watts. That means he's 40 kilos basically. Mr. Knot, potentially. Even I can do that maths. 40 kilos. Less than half of me. I'd like to be half my body weight. That'd be cool. As long as I can keep the power I've got now. So our riders now approaching the finishing point in 1 lap's time as we go underneath the archway. Then there'll be a roll down just to spin everybody's legs out. So Russ just putting the message out to lift the tempo a little bit to around 3 watts a kilo, 304. Really interesting to see the gang working. So this little bit of a back of the pack here. Carey just needs to squeeze. Dominic Rourke just yo-yoing around the back. Greg Book has got the power to squeeze on. We know that. Everybody just putting that little bit of a push to sit in with the group. The power has definitely gone up. The pace has gone up at the front. And Lamb just here, just rolling into the back, having to squeeze out some numbers to get back in and through. Taylor in here, Jamie Harper just rolling in the gang here. So come on, Jamie, you can't afford to let this gap go, mate. You squeeze on here. Daryl's just in front of you here. If you get dropped now, you're in trouble. Titch, come on, squeeze. No, it's not Titch, it's Tracy. I'm sure I've seen Titch. No, it's Tracy Fletcher on another day, I think, this week by the look of it, because this is definitely Tiff in here rather than Titch, which is Tracy. It gets really confusing. You think you're naming your child with a different initial than T. There you go. Those blame the parents. Right. Jimmy in the gang, nicely tucked in here. Carl Briggs, Kieran Smith, Eddie Dalglish in here, Phil Oliver. Just seeing Harrison in here. Kieran Smith. We've got Gibbo, Sharp in here. Jimmy just keeping a run through. Dr. D's in here. John Garford, Tom Holmes, Vin Donahue, Paul Huntley, Sam Emsley. Looks like Gregory and him Forbes in as well. And the gang rolling nicely. So that pace jumping nicely up at the moment, and the riders working their way through the desert once again. You can just see coming out from the mountains and away from the gorge at the moment, and now coming out into the flatlands, blobbed up pretty much across the road, which is always a good sign. Means the good going right now. Good to see we've got Chris Ardale in here. Chris, one of our key supporters with Velaskin. Great chat with them. Really looking forward to working with them over the next few months. We've confirmed a lot of the details for the members of the DCG gang. Remember, if you're a member of the DCG gang, you guys keep the show on the road, not the 80 or 90 who just join the ride. They basically provide us bodies who ride the chain gang. Don't keep the show rolling. Show rolls. The chain gang exists purely because of the DCG gang. The Donny Chaingang supporters could be without them. The other 80 or 90 riders on each ride that aren't members wouldn't have a gang to ride. So a massive thank you to the members of the DCG gang, and we are going to look after you as always. Remember, before Christmas, massive giveaway. Every chain gang giving away hundreds and hundreds of pounds worth of kit. 2K's worth of giveaways a month, 2K's worth of giveaways in December. We've got more coming up in the run through spring. Got some great weeks coming up with none as confirmed. Good to talk to Stefano this week. We've got none as confirmed on there. We have confirmation of the Grand Tour Coffee Week as well. We're going to be having another week with the guys from Halo on board. Gritty as well, of course. Neil from Gritty in the middle of the game. I'm sure we'll be able to see once things hot up a little bit. We start seeing a little bit of spread in this group as they come down towards the Vegas part of town. So just keep an eye around the back of this group. Dale Williams in here now. Dale Williams has been a prolific winner on the gang. He's the man who knows how to play it smart. He's got some power, he's got some speed, but just as important, if not more importantly, he's actually got the knowledge of when to go and where to go. Riding really smart, becoming the man to beat at the moment. We had a long spell where Gareth Mason was kicking his way in and home. Then Kieran Smith winning repeatedly. Kieran Brown doing the same. We've also had a number of these riders working with now. Paul Mallin just seeing the beacon in front. So Mallin and Hudson just starting to close down. I think 22 seconds up to Mike Killingsworth. These riders still rolling around about that sort of 2 to 3 watts per kilo mark. But just distance, we're just going to jump back up with the Yellow Beacon group, though. And just keeping an eye on what's happening at the back of that pack. You can see riders disappearing from your screens. That is because it only shows us the nearest 100 riders left. George has seen Ben Lowe in there as well. Ben, of course, the rider from Veloview. Veloview responsible for the graphics. A massive thank you, Ben. Actually, I think right up on the front at the moment. Gail Phillips in here, our Red Beacon Supremo, rolling around in the group with so many riders. Very difficult to call everybody. As we roll into the quieter stages as we go into the summer, tend to be able to actually give everybody a shout out. Much more difficult today with so many riders in here. So onto this draggy climb we go, and the group are working well at the moment. You can just see spread out across the road. And this group rolling well as we see them working their way up towards. This is the very front. Remember, we're going to get the front 100 shown on screen. There's actually about 135. We've just done some little bit of work behind the scenes because not everybody actually shows up on the screens from every platform. It makes a big difference when the ride is in progress, because the ride about 140 riders in fact today actually on the ride, and that's 140 sets of draft. Only 100 riders that you're visible definitely makes a huge difference. Now just taking over that 30.5k done. We've got 50k on the clock, and good to see Ross Lamb in here. Ross Gus signing for the Ribble squad, and you can see that Ribble bike already underneath him here on the Chaingang. This the front of the Donny Chaingang at the moment. So coming up towards the road junction, where on Thursday we'll be going left. Today we go right and head in up towards Tidens Grove. And the Go has gone. Lamb's going to be caught in danger zone here because Lamb is at the back. The Go has gone at the front. And that's a big ask here. Lamb's going to have to use some serious power to make his way up to the front. I'm not sure he's going to be able to respond to this. He can't let the gaps go. The problem is these gaps, when they go, if you're not in the right place, you could be in trouble. And Lamb is going to get caught out here. So the pro at the moment going to be distance from the group here. We're going to try and run our way up to the front as fast as we can. At the moment, it's a little bit tricky with the riders just spread. So it is tough stuff now. Tim Leary doing a great job. Got to the go. Well done, buddy. The improvements all the time in our riders now. It's a long way to the front. Just in with Ben from Veloview actually at the moment. Ben just in the pink as Potts is on the front here. Potts sat in there as Lowe comes up on to the front of that chasing group. Ben from Veloview, the rider, the man behind the stats, the graphics, and all of the programme. We've got to say a massive thank you to Ben and all of the team at Veloview for their support. Absolutely invaluable for us to do the maths to make sure that the Chaingang is what we want. To pick the distances and the ride, and Ben at the moment nicely in this leading group. You can just see how it yo-yos on here around, and at the moment those gaps are forming, and the yellow beacon in danger of being caught out here. So this front group pushing on, and Russ having to put in a big effort to get back into that group. You can just see him coming in and through the back of that group. He's going to come charging through, I think. Jeff Saysel's up here. Birmingham's in this group. Potts, Daryl Tutchell-Warner's in here. Neil from the Crosscast is in here as well. Great fun recording the Crosscast. The gang working well here. So Neil, of course, my co-host on the Crosscast, also of course part of the team from Gritty. And today's bit of trivia, Neil's avatar has been sunshadeless for a while because the avatar was in mourning for his Oakleys that he had lost. Fortunately, he was given some for Christmas. We've got to say a massive thank you to 1080 for making sure they looked after him. Neil, of course, a member of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, and as such benefited from those extra discounts as well. So I got to say a massive thank you to the team at 1080 and Neil's avatar. Now we've got his Oakleys back on again. This is true, he's got his Oakleys back on because he's no longer in mourning for his favourite Sunnies. Now Thorpe up on the front. This group are working well. It is a select group of about 30 riders now. At the moment, 27 to 30 riders. Thorpe at the moment continues to push with that disc set up. He's got the ability to go with pace, but look at this. Just seen another kick here. As the riders go, everybody trying to roll through, carry pace through. Jeff Saysel now going off to the front. Now can Jeff do the business here? He's got a little bit of a gap. Can he break clear on these roller coasters into the main climb? They're about to hit the base of that climb and start to come up Titans Grove proper. But at the moment, Saysel just got that little bit of a gap and they're letting him hang. I think at the moment, if we drop into the group, you can just see he's hanging out the front. Interesting to see that we've got Mason in with us still at this stage. And they're all chasing, but the man who's closed that gap down, it's Kieran Smith who's come through. So Kieran Smith with that flat cap, a medalist at the National Hill Climb. In his younger days, he's not old at all, isn't Kieran? He's still one of our young riders, but a youngster, a medalist in the hill climb. I think it was on Bank Road, if I remember rightly. So now just starting to stretch the gas, putting in the power. Rollick trying to respond as Kieran now comes in. He's going to go around this hairpin turn. He sweeps to the right now. He's going to go round to the left here. And as he spins around, maybe I might be eating my words about it being a lightweight bike, not being the bike to have here, because he's using it to good advantage on this long, draggy climb. And Craig Genther is the rider who's trying to come across. He's got Thorpe behind him. So at the moment, this is your leading group just coming up the climb. 4 riders starting to break clear. Smith, Genther, Thorpe and Booker are the top 4 riders as they go up this straight. Now Smith and Booker have some serious history out on the hill climb over at Lincoln when everybody was bumping and barging the way round. So a proper grudge match between these two as they go on the climb. Just seeing Genther having to put a power up in to take 10% off his body weight on that little bit of a kicker. Gets him back in touch with these leading the 3. So it's 4 riders. The gap is currently to Adams at 3 seconds. Jimmy Allen, the Wolf, is at 5. This is a route that suits Jimmy Allen. Adams is just trying to come across that gap, but it is incredibly close up on the front at the moment. So Will Adams chasing these riders. Rob Varty chasing. And just see Adams coming around that turn. He's got Varsity on his heels. Then it's the Yellow Beacon group behind. Kieran Smith continues to put the pressure on. They're on this climb. They're going to be heading up over the top fairly shortly. And the gap's just starting to open. But you want to group together as you come through the roller coasters and into the finish. So remember, we are going to come down. This is going to be a quick one tonight. We're on 56 minutes at the moment. So Thorpe goes again. He takes another personal best 3:52 up that 3:52.4, 3:52.6 and 3:52.7. The time up there. That time, I think we're going to see the women's times get smashed. You can look at the volume of riders getting personal bests on there. I think there's going to be a massive change around. Jimmy Allen at 4:01. So you can see there, Genther just off the pace a little bit at 3:57. And then Ben from Bellevue and all the gang at 4:01. It shows you the difference now. 4:11 for Claire Richardson. We told you she was fast. 4:11 on that climb is some going, and these three riders with that gap to Genther now, that gap has opened. It's 13 seconds, and it's all about the pressure applied over the top of those final stages of the climb. And Genther now, I think, needs to wait for the gang behind. You can see they're coming. Oliver is leading that chase, and they've got the quarry in their sights. They're absolutely nailing this descent at the moment. As this group come down through these twists and turns, they're going to be dropping down in there on the chase. Now Russ has said, let's get them. He's told them to go after them. Now they've got to make 10 seconds up. This is the group who are leading. The yellow beacon is behind. You can see it's coming, and it's 10 seconds is the gap now. Well, this really is a roller coaster. The mountains behind. The group are trying to come. They've got strength in numbers, but have they got the power to close them down? These three are pretty committed here. I think they've got to keep working, but they're now at 3 seconds. What was a huge gap has come rocketing right down as the catch is going to be made very shortly. Up onto the climb they come, and after all that work on the climb, here comes the train. It's coming, a bit like Jaws. It is behind it. It's going to swallow them up. They need a bigger boat if they want to stay clear of Jaws. As the bear falls out of the tree, hopefully Russ isn't going to do the same. In fact, as the bear falls out of the tree, the bear goes off the front. So here we go, Russ now on the offensive. That osteopath must have been working miracles as he starts to go clear here on the front of the ride. And no wonder he went. He didn't want to be falling off any trees like his family over on the left-hand side of the road. Watch it back if you don't believe me. There are lots of great things in Zwift. The Bear is one of them. Both of them, in fact, as we go through the middle of the giant sequoia here. Through the middle of the tree trunk, in between the tree stumps into the sunshine at the moment. As we come down into the flats now, the Bear's caught. And will they be able to chain him, or will they be able to drop him off the back at the moment and put him in one of the pits after that effort? It's going to be tough stuff, but at the moment the pack have closed him down. And this group now all together as they come charging down. There's still plenty of distance to go. You can see on the screen if we ping it in, we've got the mud flats still to come to the T-junction, then the right-hand turn, and then it's 2.4k once we go to the Pens. So still long, long way to go at this stage. Now Williams in here. He's got to be one of our big favourites. Greg Booker, regular winner on the Chaingang, and again, got to be a favourite here. Kieran Smith, same again. Russ Downing, wise as wise. The group behind, well, looks to me like this group with Claire Richardson, who is our fastest female rider at the moment. They are Group 2 on the road, but that gap is now hovering around about the 50 seconds mark. And I think Downing just being distanced a little bit here. He's got to put the pressure on those pedals as through they come now. This pack absolutely rocketing the way down through the straight into these twists and turns at the moment. Just in with Russ. We're going to drop in with Dale just in as they come through this section. So the gang working well into those mud flats, taking that right-hand sweeping turn here. Group 2 now a distance by a substantial margin, which means that the winner of today's Chaingang is going to come from these riders in terms of our male riders. So as female riders, I think it's in Group 2. Claire Richardson currently in the driving seat when it comes to riding as these riders come in around that left-hand turn. So the sun shining down the mud flats, steaming away the volcano in the distance still erupting, but you can just see here the volcanic springs just steaming away, the mudflats steaming as the riders go down onto the front. And guess who's gone for a long one? No prizes for guessing. The one and only Jimmy Allen. The Wolf's gone long. So Jimmy Allen going long here. Big numbers, 6.4 watts per kilo. Now, if they hesitate, which they've been known to do, they'll hand it to Jimmy Allen. He's done this before. He has ridden clear to take victory. And the Wolf is out to play. Kieran Smith wise to the danger. He's not going to let the Wolf blow any doors down today, because Kieran Smith in pursuit. And to be honest, if Kieran Smith and Jimmy Allen got together, I wouldn't want to try and chase after them. Jeff Saysel now putting in a huge effort, 6.9 watts per kilo coming out of Saysel. Downing's behind him. Kieran Smith rolls over the top, and I think Jimmy Allen's going to jump back into the gang. Let Kieran work all on his own. We've passed the pens now already. They're out to the left of the riders, are right on the screen. You can just see them in the distance. And Kieran Smith is going to get closed down as Jeff Saysel goes off into the lead. So Jeff Saysel at the moment just stretching his legs. Has he got enough power? Let's see what the pace is going to do. Jeff Saysel's brought him back, but he's just, I think he's just gone pop as we're in with Williams. So Saysel goes in pursuit. He does the work like a real domestic, and then his legs just went pop. Now Genther's back on the front again. Craig Genther is starting to go for a long one. And Craig Genther looking to squeeze a long effort out here. 6.8 watts per kilo. You can see the gap behind him. He's going around the loop section very short. He's got to get into it. Yeah, he's got to get into that T-junction in front. You can see it top right-hand side of your screen. 540 watts just eased off a touch there. Now they've got to keep on putting that pressure down. So Genther, 4 seconds now, the gap back to that group. And if these riders keep on putting in these attacks and pinging off the front, eventually that group will weaken. They will hesitate too long. And the time to pull the riders back who go for it is becoming less and less. Because when we come out of here, we have a long sweeping left-hand turn. And when we see the marker on the right hand side, we'll know that we're into that final sprint for the Rock Arch. Genther has gone 3 seconds back is the group. Jimmy Allen just on the front of that group at 3 seconds. Crosscast Neil's on a flyer after having a good national championship, sliding about in the slop. Russ has gone to the back of that group. Looks like Phil Oliver's in there as well. Now you can see on the top of your screen that we've got the archway coming on the top. It's going to be really, really close now, because this is going to be tight. They're over the line, 500 metres to go. And Genther puts in another kick, but I'm not sure he's going to have the power to hold them off here. Who's going to get the timing right here? Booker starts to go. Kieran Smith starts to go. Downey's going as well. I'm not sure who my money's on here, because Russ has gone. He's not got the pace to stay clear. Kieran Smith has got the kick. Kieran's going to want to take this. He's not going to want to let Booker have it. It's literally a drag strip into the finish. And Booker's got the draft on. He's not going to do it. Kieran Smith takes it. Revenge victory for Smith over Booker. Williams not able to match their speed off on that straight. Then Thorpe and Ben from Fellowview across Adams, Birmingham Potts. A real who's who coming in and through the line. Jimmy Allen coming through behind Sam Ensley and gang going through. Amazing to see the pace and the power on the way through there, as Saysel now just in front after chasing down like an absolute loon. He himself is in danger of being caught here on the way into the line. Amazing finish to see. So we can just see Raleigh and Richardson on the way in. Now this is about that last sprint in here. As they come in towards the line, you can see our fastest female rider, Claire Richardson, has stuck in Group 2 all the way to the line, and he's going to be the third of those riders to come over the line. It's going to be Morn with that phenomenal sprint that he always has. He's got it no matter how hard the race is, how hard the ride is. He always seems to have a sprint at the end. He comes in first out of this group, then it's Rollett, then it's Richardson who's on your screen. An amazing ride as they go in and through. Phil OCK comes chasing behind Liam Calloway, Chris Gale, Chris Iredale, Fiona Marshall in this group as well. Great ride by Fiona as well. Strong ride by Fiona. Great to see group number 3, Fiona Marshall, coming in and through the line there. A fantastic job done there. We're going to just drop back a little bit because our next group are on the way in. Dubash, McDermott, Donoghue are in here as well. It looks like Garfoot just being rolled here as Dubash puts in a trademark sprint here. Going to try and get back to cover it. So Donoghue's coming. Oh, he just doesn't quite get the timing right there. Dubash holds him off as they come in and through the line. Tim Baggs going in. Bobby Mason in with this gang in through. Ellis, Tracy Seeley in here. I think third of our female riders through. I'm not going to guarantee that one because it's absolutely mad out there at the moment. Now this our next group coming in to the line. What a finish every single time. Absolutely mental stuff. Now last 500 metres. Briggs in here. Got Steve Hilbert in the group. We've got Wharfdale Phil. We've got Ben Cokin and Carl Johnson. Now, who's your money on? I'm going to jump in with Carl. No pressure, mate. But we know Carl's got a big sprint. Here he goes, winding it up. He's seen that archway. He knows he's got the power. He was leaving it late. He didn't want to lead them out too early, but he put the kick in. He's got the gap. So it's going to be Carl who's going to take this as he comes in through underneath the line. Great ride. So Johnson gets that from Cokin. Oh, no, from Wharfdale. Phil, good ride, Phil. Then Ben Cokin, then Carl Briggs, then Steve Hilbert. I think Joe's going to be our next rider in through the line. Then it's going to be Chappell and Gibbo coming in here. It's a big old group behind them. Now they know that the line is coming and it's coming quick. I'm not sure who's going to get this little bit of a kick there by Allen. Allen's trying to push. He's not. Oh, he doesn't quite get it. Steve Cannon gets it. Now Cannon, we know, regular getting that. Anthony Spencer, Mick Chappell, Mr. Gregory Gibbo through the line. Next up, it's going to be Matt Crease, Tim Leary, who made it to the go with the final sprint up against Ted. Oh, it's going to be close. I think that's going to go back to a photo finish. Darren Topless comes through just behind him, followed by McCarthy. And then it is going to be Taylor and Barton. Now, Taylor's going to roll this one now. Rob Taylor on good day will be rolling the very front of the group. Not to be today, so Rob, hope you're not poorly or anything serious. Hope it's just not your day today. He goes through, then it's going to be Barton, the Assos London rider. Tim Leary going, doesn't know whether he got it or whether Ted got it. I'll let you watch it back. That is probably going to be a photo finish. Not the best camera angle, I apologise, but I think you're going to be able to work it out. Now, here we go. Over the line goes McMillan. Then it's going to be Andy Scollin. Scollin, one of our regular riders on the DCG gang. Barry Kipling pushing to the line with Paul Hunsley. Looks like Clark, Reed, and go through. Then it's going to be Taylor. So Benjamin Taylor on his way into the line. Good ride, Benjamin. Keeping that cadence nice and high, 100 revs per minute. Are we going to get a sprint on the way in to that rock arch? He's kicking 6 watts per kilo. I'm not sure you can sprint off 6 watts per kilo, but we will see. Yeah, he can. Up he goes, 8.5 watts per kilo. Benjamin Taylor kicking hard in here. As Taylor kicks in over the line, he still holds over 7 watts per kilo, just easing as he comes to the line. Good ride, buddy. And then it's going to be Keith Hayward now. Good to have Keith back on the chain gang. One of our really regular riders and a rider who we know has got plenty of power. And I'm sure it won't be long before he's back up at the front of affairs. I agree, Mr. Hayward. It looks like kicking the plague. Keith Hayward giving it a dig in the ribs there. As he comes in to the finished up a ride on Keith there. As he comes in to the line, he goes in his back pocket and he comes in and through. Good ride, Keith. Now, just be careful, remember, don't do too much too soon. Plenty of recovery drinks and fluids afterwards. Now, James Forbes, the next rider into the line, being chased there by Rich Shade and Sir Rodney just behind him as well. So I think Rich Shader's not been out much during lockdown. That beard, I'm sure, has got longer as the rides have gone on. And pushing nicely into the line. It's about 13 seconds ahead of Sir Rodney, but Sir Rodney's going to have to watch out because guess who's coming? It's only going to be Tiffany Fletcher. Come on, Tiff. Big sprint, 11 watts per kilo. Now she unleashes the power. And she's gone on the shoulder of him. She goes round the outside of Sir Rodney now. Good riding there by Tiff. Good to see. Good riding by both our riders there. They go in just ahead of, I think it's going to be Knott, Malin and Flynn. And then we should have a reasonable gap to try and get back to our Beacon group and maybe even manage to get a chat with Russ. Now, Alfie Knott, I think first chain going for Alfie, unless I'm much mistaken. Doing a good job here today. As he's currently just in front of Paul Malin. Malin pushing 3.8 watts per kilo, but you've got to remember Alfie's 6 is probably the equivalent of Paul's 4. That gap is not changing too much. You can just see behind him the gap's not too substantial, so the gang have got to work hard when they're up against these youngsters who are pretty lightweight and really can push on here. So Alfie Knott. Now, does Alfie know he's got to go for the archway, not the blue banner? We'll find out. Paul Malin definitely does. Paul just puts a little bit of a dig to 5 watts per kilo. He's trying to sneak up. He's not. Oh, he's going to get close. He's going to get close. Oh, not quite rolling him on the line there. Well done, Alfie. So Alfie not just takes that by a breath from Paul Malin. Next up is going to be Jim Flynn. Another good ride by Jim here out in the desert and in the sequoias. So we get Jim in and through the line. We're going to try and get hold of the one and only Russ down. We'll see if he's in one piece after that ride. It was pretty quick, pretty brutal, but great fun to watch. I think our next ride is probably going to be Mantis Hudson Owens out on the road in Killingsworth out there. Let's see if we've got on the end of the line the one and only Russ down in. Russ, are you in one piece, buddy? Maybe.
Coughing a little bit. Went a bit deep.
Yeah, I thought you had a
fun.
bad back. Was that just a little bit of gamesmanship going on there? Because there was a fair few digs going in.
No, I had a bad back. You say I was really. I went to the Aussie yesterday. I did nothing, so I wanted to open it up. I was on the phone to someone earlier, and I did my usual stretches, what I normally do, and normally it's just been so tight, and I got an extra pop out each side, so I knew I was in good shape, and it had loosened it up. So 2 treatments, a load of stretching. So I thought, yeah, why not stretch the legs? And like I said, that is one of my favourite courses. It's not easy, but I love going hard. I don't think my lungs and chest are enjoying it, but it's all good fun.
Definitely, and some great finishes. I mean, we've seen some real battles into the line, which have been amazing to see. And that group, it is so tough, isn't it? You've got to. It's a course where you've just got to hold that wheel, give it absolutely everything you've got to stay on a wheel in through the fastlands, because otherwise the gap grows so quick. But then, once you're on the roller coasters, it's about squeezing at the right time to stay with that pack.
Yeah, I think after one of the attacks, probably I don't know, lost count which one it was, but when you come into the swamp, up the little drag, I could see the group going away, and I was like, oh, this is hurting, and I squeezed, and I was going further back, and I think that was my race-winning move to get back on there, and it was like, I didn't need that, I just put an attack in, but it was all good fun.
Yeah, definitely, and good to see Kieran Smith back to form as we see Mantis coming in and over the line and literally just holding off another of our regulars, Greg Booker, as they came into the line. Greg was coming, and the 2 riders just battling against each other as they came in. Kieran just taking it, and Kieran's been such a prolific winner, and good to see he held off Dale Williams as well, because Dale is no slouch.
Yeah, I could see him actually. I was watching the sprinter. I had my eyes on him, and he was sat round the back when I was thinking about maybe going for it or what. And I thought, well, I'm just going to sit here and see what the sprinter does. And then, so I think, it was maybe too far back, but it's different in the game. But it's all good fun though. You can try and play it like a real race and put some tactics into it, and that's what we're doing at the end. You never take a sprinter to the finish, do you? If you know he's going to beat your hands down, no chance.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what it's good for. It is the same. It's definitely true. I was on one of the Zwift anti-sandbagging races earlier on. It was really interesting to watch the crits unfold with people trying all sorts of silly tactics and riding as a group, and you just think, guys, you need to just play this like it's real. Then you've got a chance, and as you say, you don't take anyone who can kick up a hill around the rest of the circuit, which is what they kept on doing. More fool them.
Yeah,
it definitely told. So great to see. Now, good to see Mr. Owens in here. Coming into the line, we've just seen Paul Hudson and Mantis go in through the line, and it looks like Owens got a bit of a kick. Mike Killingsworth is going to go for it from the back of the group. I don't think he's going to close down on Dave Owens here, so Dave Owens in over the line. Mike Killingsworth comes through, a good ride by Mike. I mean, he was yo-yoing backwards and forwards, chasing people up and bringing them on that group. An amazing ride by Mike, and you can just see how much effort he puts in. If he puts half as much effort into hanging on that sidecar, I think he's got a great summer season coming up.
Yeah, it's going to put him in great shape. It's a known fact that when you're physically fitter, you're in good shape. But some of the motorbike riders and things got told off in previous years for doing too much training the day before big races and that. But I think Mike knows what he's doing, and like I say, he's come on leaps and bounds since he started with us. At the start of lockdown, and he's enjoying his bike even more, which is what we're all about.
Definitely the case, and great to see him on there. So we're going to let you dive off. You get a night of watching tomorrow. Going to be interested to see how that rides, because of course we've got a lot of the riders on the women's only Wednesdays, including our Beacon, actually racing tonight, due to start in about 15 minutes or so, I think. 10 to 15 minutes for our riders on, a lot of them riding on that, as well as riding the women's Wednesday on the Donny Chaingang tomorrow. That's going to be on the Champs-Élysées, and the main Chaingang heading there in a few weeks as well for the Open Chaingang, so both the WOW DCG and the DCG using that course, and then back on it again, same start, same finish, but one big lap on Thursday. You looking forward to that one with the climbs to the volcano?
Yeah, we've mixed it up a bit this week and went for a racy course, and then it's very similar, I think, on Thursday. It's not flat, it's not super hilly, but it's a good circuit. Definitely
going to be interesting to watch how that pans out throughout the course of the ride. Well, Russ, you go grab a recovery, keep stretching that back. It's clearly working, and we're going to wrap the show up ready for tomorrow's Women's Only Wednesday.
Yeah, and good luck for everyone who's racing the women's league tonight, and then tomorrow, give it some more beans.
Excellent. So great to catch up with Russ. We are going to call it a day or an evening for now. We're going to be on with the Chaingang for tomorrow, and we are going to be doing some swapping over the graphics. Remember, you can watch on the Downhill Cycling YouTube channel. Make sure you give it subscribe, get signed up, and don't forget, of course, to give us a follow. You can catch up with Russ on social media, Russ Downing himself. Of course, you can catch up with me, Matt Payne, on Zwift, on Strava, as well as on Facebook, on the Donny Chaingang Facebook pages, and of course, you can always get in touch via the Full Speed Events email, which is all over the website, donnychaingang.co.uk. And don't forget, get signed up, get riding, and hopefully we'll catch up with you on Wednesday tomorrow for the Women's Only Wednesday on the Donny Chaingang.